The combination begins here with rook takes f5. Now, this exchange sacrifice is important for two reasons. First, we're eliminating a very important knight that was covering what we will see to be critical defensive squares around the black king. And second, we are opening up our queen here that was blocked by the rook. Now, yes, black can evade checkmate by simply not recapturing here, but then white is up a rook, and I'm not going to worry too much about that. Of course, the only challenging move is to go ahead and recapture right here. Now, the follow-up is queen takes h6, which you must have seen before you sacrificed the rook. This is a fantastic and brilliant move. I think that many amateur players, many developing players would look at a move like this and say, I could just never even consider a move like that. I don't think that's true. This is a check and a capture in the vicinity of the king. It is the kind of forcing move you absolutely should consider, and it's clear here that whichever way black recaptures, we're going to have some strong checks to follow up, and we should at least see where those go. First off, if the pawn captures, then we simply have knight to f6. Now, this is a royal fork, but it doesn't really matter that we're forking the king and queen, because what we're really after is checkmate right here with an Arabian checkmate. Very nice stuff. Also, if the king steps back to g8, we simply have knight to f6 check, and since the g-pawn is pinned, this is also a nice checkmate. Of course, the big question is, what happens if the king recaptures? In this case, we have no obvious checkmates, but we should feel optimistic because the king is so exposed over here and we have some immediate potential follow-ups. So we play rook to h1, which forces the king to g6. Here's where we might look at the position and go, feels like the attack is stalling out. We might give up on this combination, but we need to push through a little further. We have here king to f4, a wonderful move. It has two purposes. First, the king is actually participating in the attack by helping to cover both the f5 and g5 squares here. Great stuff. Also, the bishop is opened up by the advance of the king, the same way that we opened up the queen's line of attack by stepping up with rook takes f5 earlier. In this case, with king f4, we're opening up our bishop. So the first point is that if black goes ahead and takes our knight, now we have the bishop h5 check, and whichever way black goes, we mate the king over here on the h file with bishop takes f7. Another beautiful checkmate. Things aren't over here though, because black does have a resourceful defense. Rook e6, and you should anticipate this in going for the combination. After rook e6, now bishop h5, our intention, doesn't checkmate anymore because black is able to block the check. And now, although we've got a couple more checks, they don't lead anywhere, and black is totally winning in this position. So we need another fantastic move after rook e6. And we have it. Rook to h8. The rook simply swings to the opposite side of the board with the point that on the opposite side, it will cover these escape squares for the king after bishop h5, which is now a deadly, deadly threat. I think that this is another hard move to see when you begin the combination, assuming that you don't know that there's a checkmate coming. And I want to mention here that I think when teaching checkmates, a lot of players really focus on the check. Checkmate is a check that you cannot escape from. It's the escape part that is really hard. It's very easy to give a check in a game. It is much harder to cover the king's potential 8 escape squares. So this is a great example of focusing in on that second part of checkmate, covering the escape squares, and finally finishing off with the coup de grace checkmate here with bishop h5. Nothing black could have done on the last move stopped the checkmate right here. Fantastic combination in which all of the white pieces participated in the attack, and white had multiple different great mating combinations along the way. If you want to see more brilliant moves, please click on the playlist on top of the board. Also, as always, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified of future videos and to support the channel.